Arsenal have been dealt a major blow. After a 2-0 defeat to Newcastle in the Carabao Cup semi-final, Mikel Arteta's men huffed and puffed, but weren't able to score. So today we'll break down what we learnt from this game, what this means for Arsenal's future. We'll break down the performance of Alexander Isak, as well as discussing the latest Arsenal transfer news. Find out which forward Arsenal could be signing according to David Ornstein, and discuss a new target from Fabrizio Romano. Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is Spice14. Welcome back to your boys channel. That was a painful game to watch, a painful game to experience, leaving a massive dent in Arsenal's season. Smash a like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe to the channel if you are new. But starting off with what we learned from Arsenal 0, Newcastle 2. In a must-win game at the Emirates Stadium with some positive news going into it, the returning Kai Havertz and Raheem Sterling both seen arriving to the stadium. The Arsenal lineup was strong, with Timber back in the 11 and Lewis Skelly at left back, a midfield three of Rice, Partey, Odegaard, a front three of Martinelli, Trossard, Havertz, with options of Jesus and Sterling off the bench. But Newcastle were never going to be easy. One of the most informed teams in the Premier League, on a run of 6 consecutive victories, an attack full of so much confidence and so decisive. The stats themselves are quite damning. Despite getting an XG of 3.76, Newcastle making only 1.53. They scored 2, we scored 0, despite Arsenal having 70% of the ball, 58 final third entries, a 3.8 expected threat created, a whopping 80% of the field till. Football is a very simple game. It's not about how many chances you create, it's how many you take. In this game, Arsenal made 6, scored 0, while Newcastle were clinical. The reality is Arsenal should have easily won this game with the amount of opportunities they created. From Martinelli in 1-on-1 in the first half, then hitting the post, to Kai Havertz at 2-0 down, given a gift inside the box, only to miss the ball and shoulder it past the post. This game was an accumulation. Every team has a game when they make chances, they miss them, and it's not quite their day. But the issue for Arsenal is this is a reoccurring theme. How many performances over the past 2-3 seasons have we seen Arsenal knock on the door consistently, make massive chances, and not be able to score a goal? You think about West Ham United the Emirates last year, Liverpool in the FA Cup. Arsenal have faced this exact problem before, so why have we not resolved it? One of the major issues Arsenal currently have is their tempo. Way too focused on their build-up phase and trying to play perfect football. We almost seem to attack in slow motion, a sense of reluctance in the final third to take risks. It's all about retaining possession, instead of trying to hurt the opposition. We are the complete opposite of Liverpool, who may not be as good defensively, but have the attacking qualities to blow you out of the water, to make a chance out of nothing. It seems like for Arsenal we can only win games if things go in our favour. Ask yourself the question, how often are Arsenal able to win a game or get a result where the football isn't perfect, where Arsenal almost scam a victory through just relying on their attack? Declan Rice is one of the only players that can hold his head up after this game, producing an 8.5 rating, 5 key passes, 3 big chances created, 3 out of 3 dribbles, 5 out of 5 ground balls. Rice should have had 3 assists in this game, consistently providing elite set piece deliveries that all of our players are wasting. Timber in the first half alone should have had 2. Apart from him and Miles Lewis-Skelly, 2 of the only Arsenal players that are trying to add urgency. Your team is 2-0 down, you're at the Emirates Stadium, you're in a semi-final of a competition, potentially a few games away from Wembley. The rest of the team was way too passive, not willing to take risks on a ball, show the quality they actually have, trust in their quality to beat their man. Mikel Arteta will get criticism, fans will ask questions of why his attack is not functioning, but for me this game falls down to a lack of quality. Where Arsenal were toothless, Newcastle were decisive, summed up by the performance of Alexander Isak, scoring once again and dropping a 7.8 rating, 1 goal on top of 2 out of 3 dribbles, 2 key passes, the complete opposite of what Arsenal currently have in attack. Someone able to be decisive in the final third, not scared to play a pass in behind, almost at times a one-man attack. Someone able to carry his team up the pitch, always asking the opposition questions they don't want to answer. But his goal itself was so avoidable, a simple long ball into the Arsenal box, very poor defending, with a simple question of why was Martin Odegaard marking Isak? But for the Newcastle striker himself, that's now 10 goals since the start of December, which is more than Haaland and Lewandowski combined. With 14 goals in 15 of his last games, he has now reached 50 Newcastle goals in all competitions, since making his debut in August 2022. Only Haaland and Salah have scored more in that period of time. If any Arsenal fan had any doubt of what striker Arsenal need, we saw him give a full audition today. Arsenal can rely on the tactics as much as they want. They can coach the team in a certain way. They can craft opportunities from set pieces. But at one point, quality is quality. Isak for me has the potential to be world class, if not already. A profile that could thrive in the Champions League because he can make something out of nothing, instilling fear in his defenders. It brings his team to life. You then think about the fact that Eddie Howe took him off with 65 minutes played, went ultra defensive. Taking off his outlet for me was almost a disrespect to Arsenal. Knowing our attack struggles against deep blocks, he knew that Arsenal weren't going to break him down. You then look at the Arsenal captain Martin Odegaard dropping a 6.9 rating. 39 passes but not a single chance created. This was another poor performance. Still in possession with no risk taken whatsoever. When you've got no Bukayo Saka, more people have turned towards Martin Odegaard. You are the captain of the club, you're one of the star players. A lot of people even see you as world class. But in the last few games where it's down to illness or whatever, Odegaard has not carried his team like a Bukayo Saka has been able to. Odegaard can be creative, creating more open play chances last year than any other player in Europe. But we're talking here about a killer final pass, that KDB-esque pass, a Musiala type dribble. Odegaard is good at a lot of things, but in the final third I don't see him as a killer. Unlike Bukayo Saka who can force a moment, Odegaard needs the perfect environment to thrive. To any fan that needed any reminder, it just shows how much Arsenal rely on Bukayo Saka, the only player at this club that can carry an attack. Without him we look toothless. You then think about Raheem Sterling on the Arsenal bench, just back from injury arriving with the Arsenal squad. At one point where you've got Kai Havertz playing a right wing, you even had Gabriel Magalhaes playing there. What was the point of signing Raheem Sterling in the first place, if you're barely ever going to use him? A player that's proven to play on the right hand side, can be an outlet, can provide a threat. He might not be clinical but he can get into good opportunities. He can beat his man 1v1. Yet 5 years into our project, these are our only attacking signings. Havertz, Jesus the only expensive ones, Trossard a second option, Sterling a last minute one, and let's not even talk about the right hand side. This for me is a self-inflicted problem. We're also being so proactive defensively and in midfield, not scared to invest and go over the top and sign some of the best players in the world. Going forwards, forget about your marquee signings. It's like Arsenal don't even scout players anymore, over-relying on Bukayo Saka and the current players they have. Despite many proving year after year, they can be good players, but apart from Saka, very few are world class. That is now Arsenal's first defeat in 14 games in all competitions, with these being our next 6 games. United at home in the FA Cup, Spurs at home in the league, then you got Villa at home, Zagreb at home, Wolves away and Girona away, with a second leg at St James's Park soon after that as well. In football anything is possible, but the chances of Arsenal going to St James's Park, a club that is 70 years without a trophy, scoring 2 goals without conceding, with our current attack looks very unlikely. Now for Arsenal, things are about to get very, very difficult. When you've got an FA Cup tie on the weekend against Man United, so much pressure on Arsenal to deliver a performance. It's not just the fact that the season is on the line, it's more for me the project. Arsenal fans have been so patient, they have trusted their process. They've believed in Mikel Arteta, they've given the club their trust. But now seeing a clear issue in our attack, a real lack of quality, it is not a matter of waiting for the summer. The transfer window is open. Force the hand and sign an attacker to give the club and the team the boost it needs, because failing to do so could be disastrous. So moving on to the latest Arsenal transfer news. A demand for a forward of course has always been there, but with no Bukayo Saka for 3 months, you've now got the news of Ethan Nwaneri, who Mikel Arteta has confirmed is going to be out for a few weeks with a muscular problem. At this rate I won't be surprised if Arsenal are forced to use Max Dalman for the academy. The attack is bare bones. Arsenal need to invest, especially with these being our next 3 games. United, Spurs and Villa, all at the Emirates Stadium. But currently without a sporting director after the departure of Edu Gaspar, there has been question of who's the man to replace him, taking charge of Arsenal's transfer strategy. Well, according to The Guardian, it's former Arsenal player Thomas Rosicky that has become the lead contender to become Arsenal's new sporting director, having been in regular contact with members of the club's hierarchy, who is said to remain close to former Arsenal teammate Mikel Arteta and Per Mertesacker. With the report claiming that Arsenal being impressed by Rosicky's record Sparta Prague, and talks are understood to be continuing. Rosicky is thought to be ready for a new challenge, but currently prefers to see out the season at Sparta before making a move. Arsenal though have no time to waste. Even without a sporting director they will have to act. A forward is needed, so who is that player going to be? Well, according to Fabrizio Romano, Feyenoord's Igor Paito is a player that could be on Arsenal's transfer watch, as the Gunners are among a lot of top clubs to scout Feyenoord's talented Brazilian winger, with another report claiming the player is valued at 30 to 35 million euros. No talks or offers have been made so far. The player himself is 24 years of age and plays mainly on the left-hand side, having arrived in Feyenoord in summer 2022. With this year he has 4 goals and 6 assists. Last year it was 9 goals and 3 assists, having also showed last year that he can play on the right-hand side. Paisao is not a standout name. It won't get fans excited. In terms of his ball carrying numbers this year, 1.7 dribbles per game at a 46% success rate. They are not well beating numbers. But if Arsenal can't sign a star player this window, many who won't be available, why can't we go and scout players instead? Sign a player that isn't a top star, that can become one in the right environment. When we think about the strikers that also want right now, you look at Aston Villa, Ollie Watkins, John Duran, players that have improved their side massively. Neither of those two are star players before they went to Villa, but have become that after given opportunities. One player that Arsenal won't be moving for is former academy player Donyell Malen, who according to the reliable Sam C, has agreed terms for a move to Aston Villa, as clubs are now working to find an agreement on the fee. Another forward that was offered to Arsenal was PSG's Randall Koulibaly, a once €95 million investment that has become a market opportunity this January. Able to play as a striker and also be creative, his numbers at Frankfurt are actually very similar to Alexander Isak. According to David Ornstein, it's actually Tottenham, United, Juventus that are exploring a deal to sign Koulibaly on loan from PSG, with all clubs expressing interest, with the French forward among the best versatile attackers available on the market. It is a surprise, but maybe Arsenal are waiting. If Isak is the player they want, who they won't be signing this January, they might be looking for a wide forward instead. So staying in Paris Saint-Germain, let's talk about another forward. According to The Athletic, Arsenal could consider signing Lee Kang-in if PSG are open to a loan with the option to buy. A Korean international that signed for PSG in summer 2023. When his first year he got 5 goals and 5 assists. This year he's been far more impressive, with 6 goals and 9 league starts, alongside 2 assists and 9 big chances created. His heat map shows that he plays on the right hand side, just like Bukayo Saka, and the fact that he's left footed, able to cut inside and cause issues. At only 23 years of age, a lot of potential, but under a contract until 2028, with Ousmane Dembele and Bradley Barcola both ahead of him in the pecking order. But with PSG already looking to offload Randall Koulibaly, I don't see them letting go of 2 forwards, unless they can get their own. But having just seen Arsenal miss chance after chance, in desperate need of a clinical centre forward, could we turn to a former long-term target? We're talking Dusan Vlahovic of Juventus. As a report by the reliable Sam C, a host of Premier League clubs have been offered Dusan Vlahovic, with another report in Italy claiming Arsenal have decided to make another attempt to sign Dusan Vlahovic. With Juve currently 5th in the Serie A, 1 win out of their last 5, it seems like they want to cash in on a player they once invested so much in. January 2021, the same window that Arsenal wanted him, reportedly even making offers, in a year that Vlahovic scored 29 league goals. Since then his performances haven't been as consistent, but last year he had 18 goals, with 16 in the league, having already scored 12 so far this season, in just 23 appearances. That is for a Juve side that hasn't been at their best, nowhere near as creative. Yet Vlahovic's profile still stands out quite a lot. He's not quite the pace of Alexander Isak, but he's still a fantastic outlet, able to use his physique as an old-fashioned striker, with fantastic passing range in behind. Ultimately, he would offer Arsenal box presence, a player that comes alive inside the 6-yard box. You think about the game today and the amount of times that Arsenal threw the ball into the box, Vlahovic could offer Arsenal a far bigger threat, a player able to poach in goals, just like we saw Isak do today. But in terms of the wide forward and left-hand side, having seen Martinelli struggle and likewise Trossard, many fans demanding a new high-quality winger, David Ornstein has spoken, confirming that Mikel Arteta would like to sign Nico Williams this window, but the finances involved make it very unlikely. His release clause stands at €58 million, and with the size of his salary factored in, it becomes an even more difficult deal. A summer transfer is far more plausible. That doesn't quite make sense to me. Having only spent £70 million in the summer, sold the likes of Emile Smith-Rowe and Eddie Nketiah, pure profit in terms of financial fair play. Reports have already confirmed in this window, finances are not a problem for Arsenal. So if Mikel Arteta is convinced that Nico Williams is the guy, despite scoring only 2 goals so far this season with 5 assists, when you look at our attack and you look how predictable it is, a real lack of 1v1 quality, that is something that Williams excels at. An explosive left winger that we saw thrive at the Euros. Even in La Liga this season, 2.2 dribbles per game, higher than any other Arsenal player. He is still 22 years of age, so I expect inconsistencies. But having seen him produce 5 goals and 11 assists last season, then go to the Euros and stand out as one of Spain's best players, as they won the entire tournament, Nico Williams is an explosive profile that can make the Arsenal attack unpredictable. A different profile to Gabriel Martinelli that excels at 1v1 dribbling, can take on his man consistently, and is also comfortable on both feet, having previously played on the right hand side as well. He fits Mikel Arteta as more versatility. You also think about the clubs that are after him, the likes of Barcelona, top clubs in Europe. Williams is a quality player with potential to explode, just like we saw with Isak back in 2022, a player that had all the quality, but not quite the numbers. Newcastle took the risk and look at what they have now, a £150 million player that Arsenal would crave to have. When you then think about where Arsenal are in the title race, 6 points of Liverpool who still have a game in hand, having drawn 2-2 against Man United, with all the issues going on behind the scenes, Mo Salah posting a photo of him, Trent and Van Dijk, who are all out of contract this season, then calling out club legend Jamie Carragher, with a history of finishing second, despite being top at Christmas. When you then compare their away fixtures to Arsenal, things definitely won't be as easy for them. In terms of Arsenal themselves, after 20 games this season, we have the same amount of points as last season, having gone on to win 16 of our last 18 games. An incredible run that we have to replicate. If we want to win the league this year, we have to look at today's performance as a one-off. Today's performance was a throwback. You go back to last year and the game against Liverpool in the FA Cup, where Arsenal created a lot more chances, yet were cut apart by a clinical Liverpool. As Mikel Arteta said after, if you look at what both teams produced, it's not a result that reflects the story of the game. The reality was they were super efficient with the chances they had. So here we are once again 1 week into the January transfer window, Arsenal's season and project online, without their star boy Bukayo Saka, in need of attacking investments. Having gone way too long without him, we don't need reports about the summer. It's not a matter of waiting. Identify the players that you want, make the offers, and improve your attack this January. Because as poor as today was, there is still so much left to play for. But that is the video there and there. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed. Smash like if you haven't, subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you want to follow your boy on all of the social medias, and the links are down in the description. But that was what we learned from Arsenal 0, Newcastle 2, a really hard performance, and if anything a reminder. Arsenal need to act this January. The window is open. It's now over to the club to make their moves. As my friends, I'll see you next time. Take care. Right.